What is going on, everybody? We are going to just do a quick show for the early day slate. It's actually a pretty fun little five gamer for the early slate today. So I do think there's different ways to go. I'll start off with some plays. Guys, drop in any questions when you think about when they pop in. Baseball is a frustrating game. You go through periods where you just can't quite hit it right, and I'm going through one of them to start the season. I've had a couple of winning days, but mostly it's been kind of a shit show, to be honest with you. It's been really frustrating, and I am hoping to turn it around today. I don't mind the chalk pitchers on the early slate. I like Shane Bieber and Woodruff a lot. I think that you play ultimate upside with those guys. I really like a pivot of going to Marquis or Mackenzie Gore. If you want to get different, I guess Mackenzie Gore is not going to be different, but it's a cheap value option. He and Marquis would be my favorite pivots. And if you wanted to get really frisky, I don't mind if you wanted to play Gutierrez from Cincinnati. I think it's a long shot play, but I don't mind taking those kind of shots on these smaller slates. I don't think stacking is the best option usually on smaller slates, but I think there's some viable stacks that we probably could have used last night. Milwaukee, Colorado, the Dodgers. Let's talk about all three of them. Milwaukee, Colorado, Dodgers, and Atlanta. Atlanta is from their price points. I understand Gonsolin. I think he's a pretty good pitcher, but these prices are geared up for. I mean, I know the Dodgers are good, but come on, guys! Like this is a little bit ridiculous. You got Azuna at 3K. You've got Olson at 3.6. Albies at 3.8. You've got Rosario at 2.5. Duvall at 2.4. It's just a little. It's a little tempting to try and play these guys, and the one thing about the Atlanta, like as a full stack, what I really don't like, you have no Riley in there today. I don't know if I like the full stacks of basically anybody today. I even think Philadelphia and Colorado are not quite my favorites. I think the easiest one to do would be to play Milwaukee, but I think you're going to get some pretty high ownership on those guys. So I'm going to talk about some of my favorite, individual combo plays, that kind of thing. The Rockies are still too cheap. I like, if you're going to use any of them, I would rank them Bryant, Blackman, Grichuk, McMahon, Crone in that order. If I was going to rank Philadelphia, it would be Bryce, Reese, Hoskins, Castellanos, Realmuto, Segura. The Dodgers, if you're going to play any of them, I would probably play Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, Muncy, then Betts. If I was going to play the Cleveland White Sox, I just think that making a full Cleveland stack is actually one I can get behind, but I don't have like a love for any individual plays outside of Ramirez and Franmil Reyes. And I do think that again, the Brewers are the most viable, like for me, full stack. Tellez, Yelich, Wong, Tellez, Yelich, Adames, Wong, Renfroe, Narvaez. I would have in that order. It's a weird combo slate. I really don't mind like even if you wanted to do 2-man stacks. I just don't think you need to on these kind of slates necessarily stack. But if you wanted to go ahead and stack any of these guys, I think that obviously the Phillies and Rockies would stand out, but I really think that the best stack is the Brewers. And I think that the second best stack would probably, if you're going to go full stack, would be Cleveland. Then I would go San Diego. I do think there's upside for Gutierrez, but I do like San Diego a little bit as well. They're also really cheap, and it's just really easy to spend up for the top pitching options. Hey man, no problem. I'm going to be doing video. I'll try to keep doing the videos for any slate during the week that has more than 2 games on it, 3 or more. And I'll try and do a quick video. So pop in any questions and thoughts. There's not a whole lot to discuss in this slate. I feel like it's pretty straightforward. What I would do is probably take my favorite pieces, or I would stack Milwaukee or Cleveland. That would be my way of playing the slate. Unfortunately, you're not going to get low ownership on any of that. So if you're going to make a stack for like a Milwaukee, you're going to have to ignore the best plays and, play the Keston Hiura batting 7th, less likely to get pinch hit for because he's starting against a righty. So I like that a little bit better. San Diego, we certainly could pick on Gutierrez if we wanted to try to, but again, they're going to be popular if you wanted to take the lower owned ones. I think it's actually going to be the first baseman, Voit and Hosmer, and then you've got Will Myers at 3.1, which I think would be my next favorite play. We don't have their lineup, so they should be the lowest owned on the of these viable stacks, because I think that all the stacks are viable. I just am not all that excited about any of them. So that's what I'm doing. Real quickly on some pitcher information, just for what it's worth, you have the best pitchers umpire is in Colorado today. And I do think that gives Marquis enough of a boost. And I think Marquis has the ability to put up at least a comparable performance to the Bieber and Woodruff if they're on. And at 8.6, you get a little savings. So I think that's an interesting way to go. You're also going to get a huge ownership discount. And you look, one of Bieber or Woodruff gets hit around a little bit today. Maybe you can go with that. People are talking about worried about Bieber's overall, the number of pitches he'll throw. They're going to be a little careful with him coming back from the injury. I still don't think it matters in this slate. I think that you just take a guy who's going to get you somewhere between 12 and 35 points. I know that's a wide range. I have him ranked second behind Woodruff, and I think they will stretch as they keep going. Bieber will throw more pitches, but I would play Woodruff ahead of him if I had to pick just one of them. I do like Bieber, but that's what I would be doing. No problem, Shark. Oh, awesome. I really am happy you guys are taking a look at that industry search tool. I think it's really cool. And I think Evan's come up with some great stuff, and we want to do a better job of highlighting it. So I'm really happy that people are taking a look at that. Guys, fire on in your questions. I will be doing a live before the NBA and MLB slates lock tonight. But I also, we're going to do the roundtable discussion tonight. So I thought we were going to do it live. We still might do it as a recording. I will let you guys know. It will be at 8 Eastern. But anybody who wants to be a part of it, come on in and join. Like, we don't need to pick apart you're going to pick apart our lineups. We're going to pick apart yours. We're going to talk, some strategy, some construction and stuff like that. And it's just going to be a good time. So hopefully you guys can make it, or at least watch it after the fact if you're not able to make it tonight. All right. What else do we have from today's slate that actually is relevant? I don't think that I said, the guys who are my favorites. Again, you're going to get really, really concentrated ownership on a few of these spots, but it can't be too concentrated because there's enough good spots. I just think San Diego makes a lot of sense because of the lineup being released later. I think these guys end up a little lower owned than they're projected. And again, you can play the Myers, Voit, Hosmer. You can't play Hosmer and Voit together, but that's going to be the lower owned part of the stack that I would want to get some pieces of. You can even throw Profar into the mix for that if you wanted to as well. And I think Atlanta is very viable today against the Dodgers. I don't think that's anything shocking, but these prices, 2.4K for Duvall, 2.5 for Rosario, who literally was the greatest hitter of all time in the postseason last year, especially against the Dodgers. I think that's all very viable routes to go. And I would be trying to mix in one or two Atlanta bats. I would try to mix in probably a bat or two from Philadelphia and Colorado, and then maybe get a 3-man stack of Milwaukee or San Diego, or even Cleveland, to be honest with you. But I would go Milwaukee and San Diego as my favorite for going with the multiple players. All right. Awesome. Hey, man, that's great. Yeah, come be a Bruin. That's great. I grew up in Westwood. I'm a UCLA guy. I was actually going to go to school there, but I ended up dropping out of school, so didn't end up doing that because I had too good of a job opportunity to pass up. It wasn't in DFS, believe it or not, but that's what happened. For ATL on DK, who do you like for a 3-man? I like that. So for a mini or a 3-man stack, I would say that you're going to get pretty high ownership on the guys who are the best plays, which would be let me grab my numbers real quick. For some reason, it took me away from it. Ozuna, Olsen, and Albies I expect to be owned somewhat. Those would probably be my 3 natural favorites. But I love the idea of just, instead of one of those guys, instead of Ozuna, maybe play Duvall at 2.4. Similar power upside and similar projection at probably 1/3 the ownership. Or I would play Rosario. Those guys would be my favorites, I guess. But that Olsen and Albies are the 2 best. They're just going to be the most owned. So maybe you mix it in with one of the Rosario Duvall plays. I kind of like that. That's what I would do with the 3-man Atlanta. But again, I'm not saying, look, Gonsolin's a good pitcher. It's just the prices of these Atlanta players for their talent level is way too cheap. It made more sense against Buehler and Kershaw. It doesn't quite against Gonsolin to treat him like he's the best pitcher in the world. He's just not the same guy those other guys are, but he is a solid pitcher. I don't like the full stack, but I do like that little 3-man. And I think I would include Duvall or Rosario with the Olsen and the Albies play as my favorites. You could also play Olsen with or Albies with both the outfielders, Ozuna and Duvall. Yeah, Westwood is really great. My girlfriend actually lives like a block and a half outside of what would I guess you'd call Westwood. So I go all there all the time. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to. I grew up there. It's a great place to be, man. It's a really 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 awesome environment. Nothing like it's not like this SC this dirty SC school. I don't like these SC guys as much. Just messing around. You know, we hate SC here as UCLA guys. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to pop on for a little bit and give you a little bit idea of what I'm doing on this early slate. I think there's ways to get different. It does give you some real flexibility on who you can play, and you don't need to get all that creative to do it. Milwaukee, as I mentioned, is going to be popular. I do like them, but you can play Renfroe at low ownership. You can play Tyrone Taylor at low ownership, or Hira or Jace Peterson, which I'd be less likely to do the Peterson route. But I do think that's a viable stack. And if I was going to do the other full stack, again, these teams that get their lineups out late, especially if it's after lock, and I don't think, as I just checked when I came on, we didn't have a San Diego lineup. We may have one soon. No, we still don't have one. So it's going to keep San Diego lower owned. So if you're going to force and time my, you have to pick a stack. I probably would pick San Diego just based on the fact that they're going to be lower owned because of when they're playing. And even still, I don't show a whole lot of ownership for two guys I like in Voit. Whether Voit or Hosmer, same price, basically same position, or Myers. So that would be the stack that I would be most inclined to go to. I just think Philadelphia and Colorado have actually two decent-ish pitchers going in up there. So I don't want to try and go after that spot, even though it is a little bit tempting because the run totals, I'm not going to do that because it's just too chalky for a 5-gamer for me. All right, guys, I'm going to probably bounce out. I will see you guys obviously many times throughout the day today. I really appreciate everybody's loyalty. Again, check out True DFS. Please give us the thumbs up, the like anytime you see the videos on. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate, everybody checking out the SaberSim stuff. And so far, it seems like things are going really, really well with that. And let's make some money today. Let's turn it around. I want to get my baseball season going. It's frustrating. It's been really, really a rough go for me to start the MLB season. And while I've been doing well with my NBA bets, I'm not doing so well with the DFS aspect. So time to turn it all around today, guys. Good luck, everybody. And hopefully somebody takes something down.